wanted to start off by just introducing ourselves. My name is Stefan from the Ludo Labs team, and we're joined by Jack. Jack, hello.
Hi, how you doing, guys? Jack here.
And today, before we jump into club and the club game and what you guys are doing, just a quick introduction on Ludo Labs for those of us, or for those of you who are not familiar with it yet. Ludo Labs is a membership-based digital football community that leverages the power of NFTs to provide fans with exclusive experiences and democratize access to the inner circle of football. And we're very happy that you can all join us today. Don't forget that we are hosting a giveaway as well. If you haven't looked at that yet, please have a look at our tweets over the last 24 hours or so, and make sure to follow all the steps. We're here with Club Game today, and it's a pleasure to have you guys here. If you could just introduce yourselves, and then we can get right into what Club Game is.
Sure thing. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for the intro, guys, and thanks for having us on. Super excited to share our game with you guys today. So my name is Adam. I'm one of the co-founders of Club. My main job is game design, and also kind of just delivery of the game in general. So I work closely with the development team to build the game and turn it into an app that you can actually download and play on your phone in the not too distant future. So my kind of recent history is basically playing all of the football games. So one of my most recent projects, we're working with So Rare, who you may be familiar with from the kind of NFT space, is the kind of football trading card game. So I worked with them on a kind of free-to-play experience called the So Rare Academy, and generally just active in fantasy football social media circles, and do a little bit of writing for Fantasy Football Scout. Before all that, I was a software project manager, which is why I sort of work on the kind of delivery of the game aspect as well. And that's basically me. So I'm just one of the co-founders of Club, and just working to build really the coolest game that we can, and working closely with Mel as well, who will come next, I expect.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, so I'm Mel, or MDJ, and I am the community manager for Club. So my role really is about helping to build the Club community and making sure that the community is really connected in with the decisions that we make and the way that we build this game. Because without the community, we don't have a game. My history is really quite similar to Adam's in many ways, being involved with various different platforms, like So Rare, other platforms in the past. I was an ambassador for So Rare for a little while. And so I really come from playing and being part of the community, and kind of in my other non-football life, building communities in the real world, and then coming into this space and trying to use some of my learning from the real world into online channels. And yeah, for me, it's, as I said, it's really about how we bring people into this game to make it the best thing that it possibly can be, and to use the learning from platforms elsewhere, both the successes and also the things that haven't worked so well. And I'm really excited about what we're building here, and particularly excited to see how quickly we've built a community around this, and people are already starting to make content and have great ideas about how they can add value to what it is that we're doing on the product side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should have added as well. Both of us are also quite probably not quite full NFT degens, but somewhere getting there. So we're both kind of active in sort of NFT communities respectively. I think Mel tends to be more cats, and I tend to be more towards the ape sort of spectrum. I haven't quite managed to reach Bored Ape status, but yeah, we're kind of both have a strong interest in kind of crypto and NFTs as well, and we just want to, with Club, we really want to be seeing like how we can sort of bring those things together and really sort of use blockchain and use it in a way that is actually beneficial to the people who play those games. So that's why we've kind of taken Club in that play and earn direction, but also tried to sort of build on experiences like Axie Affinity. Like we're not that sort of grindy game. We really are trying to build a game which is a game you would play anyway, and then build that play and earn experience around it as the sort of so what to all the time and effort you put into these games. So it is play, and it's very much kind of play and earn rather than the play to earn spectrum.
I love it. And Mel, you mentioned community, and it's something we definitely want to get into in a bit as well. But I think you've both teased it a little bit already, but could you explain to us exactly what Club is and how that idea came about?
Sure. So Club is a free-to-play and play and earn mobile game. So you'll be able to download this on Android and iPhone. We have a closed beta for our kind of early adopters in about 6 weeks. And then from July, which is the start of the real football season, we're hoping to open it up to the public. And basically, from then, anyone will be able to play this game. And it's based around real life performances of real world players. So in that respect, if you're familiar with a game like Fantasy Premier League, or even the scoring around So Rare and the way that works, reasonably similar in terms of the overall approach. But I guess there's a few key differences, which is one, we have a whole club building experience around this. So you're not just picking a team that is based around real world players. You're building like a whole club. So there's almost a sort of tycoon element to the game of like building a stadium and building a scouting network and an academy and all this stuff. And that all contributes to the sort of power of your club and how quickly you can buy new players and compete. And I guess the second thing is that we're the founding team are people who have really kind of lived and breathed all of these games and spent too many hours playing and analyzing different scoring systems and different ways of evaluating. So we've really poured all of that experience into trying to advance the genre and just really sort of make it a more satisfying experience for fans. And so basically our goal is to make it a little bit more intuitive, you might say. So like when you're watching a game and you're a football fan and everyone kind of knows who's had a good game and who hasn't. The idea is that the game basically reflects that. So we've really tried to improve on what is out there as a core concept. Like I said, this is really a game we hope people would play anyway, because we think that with Play and Earn, our view is that if you don't have a game that people genuinely want to play and would play without earning any money, you're never going to be able to build a sustainable economy around that, because there will always be another Play and Earn that comes along, right, and says, oh, we've got a higher ROI, we've got a bigger yield, because the early adopters of a new game will always get that kind of bigger yield, right? So we're very much trying to build a real game that people would just enjoy playing, and then loop in the kind of Play and Earn experience to that. So I think Club is very different to a lot of other things on the market, and that's really the sort of genesis of it, is that we really wanted to build something that was kind of better than what is out there, because we obviously hear what people playing these games and being active in these communities. We hear all the complaints about all the gripes they have on a weekly basis. So we've tried to fix a lot of them, and then we've also tried to loop in the Play and Earn stuff, because we feel this is a really important way of like rewarding the time of users and players of the game, because people invest so much time into these games and don't really get anything back unless they dip into betting and that kind of thing. And we're not really keen on going down that route. So we more see ourselves like a FIFA Ultimate Team. That is the model we're trying to compete with. So in FIFA Ultimate Team, people are asking kids to put in $50, $90 a month. $50 to $90 a week, just to stay competitive in the game. And it kind of sucks, like, because once people spend that money, 100% of that is basically gone. Like that is kind of a sunk cost. And we feel that what we can do is basically do a similar sort of model, but why not share 50% of the value people are creating back with the players? Because we don't really need it all. We don't have the budget, we don't have the overheads of EA. We're quite happy to share that with the players, and we think that will make for a better game and a more engaging game where players share in the value that is being created by the game. Because ultimately, as Mel said at the start, like, without the players, you've just got an app that no one cares about. Like it really is the players who bring life to that game. It's not just the developers that should get the rewards for that whole experience. So that's really what we're trying to do with Club.
Adam, thanks very much for that. That was super interesting and a really good and in-depth understanding of Club Game, the history and where things are now. A couple of things you mentioned, I guess you tied it really nicely back to it around the community and player side of things. Really keen to know, I guess, from a starting point to now, is how do you guys go about building the community aspect, and ultimately where did you rank that in terms of the relevance of importance, and I guess moving forward, what does that look like for the future of club and community? How are you going to keep that sort of community engagement?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's one of the most important things, absolutely, because if you're playing a game, it's only really fun if you're playing it with other people, and we want to create something that people can not only play competitively against each other, but also have opportunities to play together with their friends as well. So everything that we've built in terms of the game dynamics encourages that. So, for example, we're going to allow people to play for free. We're also going to have people that are playing in the kind of blockchain stream, but we want people to be able to play together with their friends, depending on, it doesn't matter whether we've got a free to play player or whether there's someone that's actually putting money into the game. We still want them to be able to play against each other or play with each other. They're the kind of things that are important for us in terms of the game dynamics. In terms of building the community as it is now, we opened up the Discord really early on before we even had very much to say about the game. We've had people join us quickly. We're up to about 3,000 now. And kind of similar to your Discord, it's something where people can go to talk about the game, to get involved in different activities, quizzes, prediction games, all that kind of usual stuff to keep a community feel ticking over in between. But also for us, I think it's really key that this is a two-way process. We're trying to build something that's quite new, quite innovative. And I feel that we can only do that if we give opportunities to the community to feedback and to tell us what they think. So that's really why we've started out the way that we have with the founding clubs. So at the moment, we're offering opportunity for people to buy in as a founding club member, either as a gold founding club member, which is the non-NFT version, or to buy in with a meta founding club, which is the full NFT package. Either of those packages make people a kind of early adopter, a VIP in the game, where they get to start at the beginning with an access to an early access beta version of the game, where we're going to try out some of the mechanics that we think set us apart from the other games on the market. And as we do that, we think we've got it nailed. We think we've got the scoring right. We think we've got the transfer market right. But we want to open it up now so people can tell us what works, tell us what they like, but also tell us anything that they think that we could change. Because I think we're very quickly building a community of football gaming experts. And I hope that they feel empowered to give us that feedback. I think they already are from what I've seen. And that will help us to build the right thing, because it'd be very easy for Adam or I to build something that really appeals to us. But we need to know that it really appeals to everybody else as well. So I think for us, I guess to summarize, it's about having something that involves people at all levels, where they can play together, play against each other, something where there's something to get involved in outside of the game itself. Because football, I mean, for me, football is every day. It's life. It's what I talk about. It's what I talk to my friends about. So it's more than the game. And then, as I said, I think it's about allowing people that opportunity to really feedback and shape what it is that we deliver, so that we do this collaboratively. So it really is a joint effort to create the most innovative, most engaging football game on the market. So yeah, it's absolutely top of the rankings for us in terms of how we're approaching this project.
Yeah, if I can pick up as well, like Mel mentioned a really important point that I didn't know, which is the kind of target audience that we're going for. So as you mentioned, we've got an NFT package, but we've also chosen to sell a sort of more standard gaming, just fiat package that people can pick up for £20. And the reason we're doing that is basically because we are very much going for that mass market appeal. We do feel that sometimes when you have a lot of crypto games, they sort of struggle to get that mass adoption. So like you end up with sort of 3,000 to 5,000 people sat in a Discord, and they're all sitting on sort of $3,000 assets going, when mass adoption? And the answer is probably never, because if you look at like the average spend of a usual gamer, it's closer to sort of $200 a year, right? So if you're really, really going to get up to the millions of player, what you do is you go free to play. So what we're trying to do with Club, which is very different from other games, is to actually make the core of the game in terms of selecting the players. That's all free to play. It follows a similar model to something you might be aware of, something like a Fortnite. Fortnite is hugely successful, both kind of in terms of popularity and commercially. And the actual core gameplay experience is completely free. What they do is charge for the stuff that they build, a cool world where people care about, their sort of appearance and their personality, and then they sell people things that they don't necessarily need, but they will probably really want because they really, really care about that game and that universe. So we're trying to do that exact same model in using NFTs, and sort of give users that kind of experience of a free app that basically, you download this thing. You don't need a wallet to get started. There's none of that, oh, how the hell do I do crypto stuff with Club? Like, you literally just get them started in the game without having to bother with any of that stuff. And that is a genuine kind of differential to a lot of other crypto products on the market, and that we're just going for that sort of real ease of use, no trouble onboarding approach. And for us, like, it doesn't really matter to us whether people adopt crypto on day 1 or week 2 or month 3, or for some people may never adopt crypto, and that's okay. Like, they're still part of the community, they still participate in the game, they probably still chat on socials. Like, it's kind of all good to us. But we feel that if you create that game world where people actually really enjoy it, they're sort of social and active, people will care about, you know, the stuff they can buy, and they'll want that Black Dragon Laser Eye club badge, and they'll want the coolest stadium in the game. And that is what we've built our NFT economy around. And we've left it open for people to pick whatever players they can afford in the game, based on their skill, really. So you start with a budget, but that budget is not real money. That's just kind of in-game budget, in the same way it might be for like a sort of any mobile game or like a fantasy Premier League. And you use that budget, you build up that budget over time through your skill, and you know, you can win the whole game and not pay a single penny. The difference is you won't get anything back either. Like, you will not be able to qualify for the rewards that you can get if you don't mint your club and you don't use the club coin. So there's an interesting economic model. We put a lot of thought into around how you do that, because we really want this game to reach millions of players rather than just low thousands of players. So we've made it as accessible as we possibly can.
Totally.
Yeah,
And
I was
go
just
ahead.
going to say, I think the other thing to note there, certainly from my point of view, is I think the kind of crypto NFT space can get a bit of a bad rap sometimes. I think people who are outside of it see it as something that's a little bit scammy, and it's a bit weird, and is seen as a very niche thing. And I hope that through this project and other projects like this, people can find an easier way to kind of build a bridge into this and see that perhaps it isn't what people are telling them, and it is actually a more equitable way of working. I mean, the whole idea of a decentralized space is to kind of change who we see as the masters and who makes the decisions and who controls the money. And that's something that really appeals to me, the fact that we might be part of starting to build that bridge and breaking down some of those barriers, making it a little bit easier to just take a little step into this world and see, if they can see the benefits and if it feels all right to them. And we're certainly never going to push people down that track if it isn't comfortable to them. But hopefully through things like this, it might just give people enough of a taste to challenge some of the stereotypes and the things that are put out that are, blatantly wrong about this space. So I'm quite about that, really.
Totally. And I think, just going back to your earlier point, Mel, around, listening to the community, we at Ludo Labs think it's so incredibly important. And I think a lot of the Ludo Labs loyalists or OGs on this space can testify to that. But, whatever it is that we do is for our community. And so listening to them and making the relevant adjustments and improvements on an ongoing basis is extremely important. I think, secondly, it's also very important to make NFTs as accessible as possible, or at least like giving people an understanding of that when they enter this world, whatever that world may be, what's in store for them and what kind of benefit or advantage is in there for them. And I think you guys are doing a great job at that. One question I had was, how do you see the space, the NFT space, progressing, particularly in football? I think in football now, more and more people are becoming aware of at least NFTs, and more projects are popping up. But where do you guys see the space going?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot going on. Like, you guys, we've got obviously club games. So I think football games themselves are increasingly trying to move into that space, because there's a huge audience of football fans and a huge audience of people who play football games. And I'm sure club is not the first to notice that. They will, or one of the only people to notice that. People spend a lot of time in the space, they love it, and they want to be able to get something, have a kind of play and earn experience in there, and get something back from their time. But it's so much more than that. Like, there's so much more going on. Like, we actually had an interesting conversation with someone involved in like the WAGMI United whole thing last week, which was really interesting. So they just bought Crawley Town, and they're trying to tokenize that whole experience and give the real fans like an actual say over how that club is run. And I think that stuff is absolutely fascinating. So I think we are increasingly going to see that stuff. But I think as you alluded to, and Mel did as well, like, people do view it with vision. I think really what you have to do is really think, why are we doing this? Like, what is the actual benefit to the player of our game or the member of our club? for actually using crypto, because a lot of the time people do a big mint because they want to pull in a lot of cash pretty quickly, and then either they never really plan to do much with it, or they kind of then make it up as they go along. And I think when you do a mint, you really need to think, what is that money for? What are you actually gonna build using that money that is of benefit to people? And in Club's case, it's that we want the FIFA Ultimate Team model. We want to make sure that we're absolutely not promising that people are gonna get be able to quit their job and just play Club for a living, but we do want to make sure that when people spend money in the game, it's not just a sunk cost. They might actually be able to make a little bit of that back and have had a good time, and maybe that's enough. For a lot of people, certainly like the Western audience, they don't play games to necessarily make money. The value is comprised of a ton of different stuff, and one of the big parts of that is entertainment, and some of that can be money. And then you'll get other players who maybe they're really, really good or really, really lucky or particularly dedicated, and maybe they make a ton of cash. And maybe you see some of those examples, and that's kind of fantastic. But I guess for me, you've just got to. It will settle around what are the real benefits to the people that are actually paying for this stuff and using it, and it probably applies to Wagme United as well and Crawley. And I guess one of the early benefits they've stated is that if the directors of that club are not performing by their metric of being promoted in their second season, then the fans will actually have the power to vote in their token, I believe, and sack the directors. So you won't get this situation like with Newcastle United where a director has just sort of sat there for 20 years, completely ignoring the wishes of the fans. So, if blockchain can be used to support stuff like that, I just think it's kind of fantastic.
Yeah, and I think we're so early here. I think there's going to be so many different experiments and people trying to take this in different directions. And I can't even, I think it's really difficult to imagine what the next 5 or 10 years will look like and how people will explore those utility questions. There's an awful lot of opportunity for real world experiences, real life experiences, which I know is something that you're really keen on. And that's kind of the key offer for your project. And that brings people closer to the players that they watch. And I hope that, real world stuff is something that we can build in with Club as well. And I think it's a really exciting space to be in at the moment. I think there's also some risks, because I think with something as when we're as early as this, you will get people that come in and try and do a bit of a cash grab. So I think it's a time to just kind of be aware, because there will be a lot of projects popping up, as we saw with the profile picture type projects, where it reached a critical mass and people just started to pump out projects left, right, and centre, and there wasn't always something at the end of that. As Adam said before, I think people need to be really careful when they're building a project, and if you're essentially investing in a project by buying into it, to see kind of what the end goal is and what somebody's trying to build. And that we've put a lot of thought into that. There's been a lot of planning before we got to this point, and I think I'm pretty sure that the community can see where we're headed with this, and we're really pleased with the uptake so far.
Fantastic. That's very well answered, and I think your point on IRL, in real life experiences for us is definitely very close to our hearts. We do want to bring the fans as close to their favorite players as possible, and probably also from a community building standpoint, like there's still so much value in doing stuff in real life rather than just on in the digital sphere. But very good points both. I think just being mindful of time, I want to see if there's anyone that wants to ask any questions to Mel and to Adam. I see Andres here. Andres, I am making you a speaker. Andres, can you hear us? If anyone has any questions, feel free to hit the request button. Okay, we're going to bring up Wolverine. Can you hear us? You're on mute at the moment.
Hi guys, good afternoon. This is Wolverine from Adamantium FC. Once again, brilliant project. The ideas I think are all there for being to make this a really successful project. My question is, we all know that fantasy football runs about real game schedules from July until mid-May. Are you guys considering to have some sort of off-season option to entertain the club owners and the managers for that off-season, or haven't you yet thought about it?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and you have a great name, sir, by the way. So this is something we spend a lot of time thinking about, obviously. So I guess there's a few things around that, which is we're not just a fantasy game. We're a mobile game, so we have a ton of stuff around building your club. It's about personalization. It's about having the kind of club you always dreamed of. So if you go on our Twitter, you can see the whole 3D experience that this is. So you get your stadium, you customize your stadium, you can put it in. People have been like creating their whole like social media profiles around, this is my club and it's in Cuba and it's got a mountain backdrop and this is the stadium, this is my training base. Like you sort of see all the club of life in 3D. So it's really an experience about building that kind of club you've always wanted to build in a 3D setting, and then showing it off to your friends. So all of that infrastructure building and that sort of tycoon element of the game, that obviously goes on even when there's no football, and that allows you to keep on developing your club, because this is a game we imagine people playing for years and years. So one of the NFTs that you can sell is actually your club, so you can build up your club. If that club has a year of your input and time into it, someone who's coming along and they want to start the game with a big club, they might come along and buy your club if you want to sell it. So there's a ton of stuff around that. Obviously, there's also a live transfer market. So the player prices are not static. They react in real time to the decisions of users. So it's a little bit like a sort of a stock market in that sense, in the terms of the fictional currency in there. So when a player gets a big transfer in the summer, for example, and people think he's going to, you'll obviously see his price rising most likely. So there's that kind of whole social experience as well around discussing player transfers and what that might mean. And then thirdly, I guess we've got kind of NFT trading as well, which will be kind of going on. So as people seek that kind of dream stadium and dream badge and whatever, like they'll be trading stuff. And as well, we have kind of mini games planned. So at the World Cup, for example, at the end of the year, we're going to build a sort of World Cup club experience where you pick an international team. Maybe you can win certain items and get that. And then also we've got things planned because we're on a mobile game format and our developers are very used to making cool games. We're going to do things similar to what Bored Ape Yacht Club did recently, where they had this week-long competition where they made these really cool prizes. So a lot of it was like real-world items that you guys will love. So they did like a sort of customized car that was like a mutant ape car, and that was like the ultimate prize. So all the players of this game for that week just hammered this mini game to try and get the highest score and win these prizes. So you could have like a club owner Lambo race or something like that in the game. So we're planning all of these things to come to kind of cover those international breaks where things get a bit dry. These games are super social as well. So if you look at like FPL, people have no problems entertaining themselves around that, even though they perform about 2 actions per week in the game itself. Like these games are really social. So we think I think ultimately it will be those communities that sustain people and those friends you make along the way. That's also really, really important.
Very well said. We're just bringing on one more person to ask a final question. John Ellis, can you hear us?
I can. How is everyone today? You all sound chirpy.
Very good. How are you?
Hello, Adam. I think you said hello there. I've obviously met most of you by now, but I just had a quick question on the sales of the clubs. Are you happy with how that's going? I've obviously minted mine, and I'm very excited to see what you have. I was enjoying listening to this because it's given me a bit more of a picture of what you are building. Just wanted to know, I suppose, what are your thoughts in terms of the minting and how it's going, or where you see it going?
Sure thing. Hey, John. So, yeah, last I checked, we'd sold like just over 1,000 clubs being minted to something around like 800 unique wallets. So we really just targeted the fans in our Discord and a few kind of friendly crypto projects that we knew. We didn't really push them too hard. We kind of don't need necessarily the funding. It was mainly about trying to offer something to our kind of earliest adopters to kind of get them into the game, and they've got stuff. So we're having a reveal party on Thursday where everyone's going to get like a unique club badge. They're going to get their VIP club access card, which is like their minted club already. So that's our kind of meta pack, and they get a limited edition kit as well. So there'll only ever be 10,000 of these packs eventually. So we'll probably sell, that the 10,000 we expect to probably sell throughout 2022 in various batches rather. But we sort of ummed and ahed about, do you do the thing where you go out to the sort of degen groups and the alpha groups and just, let people buy 50 and just you do that thing where you then kind of crow about selling out in 8 seconds or whatever. But, we really thought that actually we want to get these in the hands of real fans who are, just kind of buying one because they like the game. And we do think that, as a sort of project with a sort of 5-10 year time frame ahead of us, that was probably the right thing to do. And I think what I quite like is that even though we've sold 1,000, but 800 of those are unique wallets, which is really interesting. And projects I'm involved in, there's one called Megapont that's actually doing their reveal tonight that a good friend of mine runs. And often in projects that are hard in the crypto space, you'll find that holders have sort of 5 each or 50 each. So it makes it really easy to kind of sell out quickly. But then obviously those people are going to want to get rid of them. So we're hoping that, by giving it to the sort of real fans, people will kind of stick with it. And then we'll release more when we're kind of ready. We're not in a sort of major rush to do that. But we're pretty excited about Thursday for people to kind of see, their unique badges, see who gets the 10 animated ones, like this sort of black dragon with laser eyes and the ninja and all this stuff. So yeah, we're looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, and can I just add on to that I think, when you think about it, we've got 800 people or more. It's probably more now because I think the numbers have jumped about 100 today, Adam. I think, that's 800 individuals that have backed us. They've not seen the game yet. They're backing us. And it's, for a lot of people, that's a significant amount of money to put into something that they haven't seen. So I really want to recognise that and thank people. I mean, we're putting out all the information that we can, plenty of kind of screen grabs of what the game will look like. We've got the light paper that goes into quite a lot about the game dynamics and the tokenomics behind the game as well. But, it's still a leap of faith for people. And I really want to thank those who, I can see a lot of club owners in the stream at the moment. I want to thank you for backing us and having faith. I mean, we're a docs team. We've been really clear about our backgrounds and the costs that we're applying to this. But, I still want to recognise and thank you for having that faith. And we will repay that. And we really recognise that. And I also really want to ask, John, what did you name your club in the end?
I think I settled on Debbie Downer FC. I think it went in a little bit houseless, a little bit heartless. Sorry, there wasn't enough personality in the club. But now, I suppose one of my catchphrases is there. But no, that's a great answer. It's always good whenever you get NFT projects, and it actually gives me a lot of faith personally whenever they aren't hell bent on selling out in the first day or selling out in the first week or month even, because it shows that longer term vision, which I think is important. Whereas it's almost like an alarm bell. Maybe it shouldn't be a lot of the time whenever you see projects hyping up giveaways in their Discord constantly just to try and get people into the Discord, to try and get people to buy NFTs, to try and give stuff away, to try and sell out. So yeah, no, thanks for the answer. It gives me a lot of confidence, and I'm excited to see what you do. So thanks for having me up.
No, thank you. Yeah, I think that's really important as well. And we've sold, I think it's like 500, 600 of the gold packages as well, where people can just buy for fiat. So those guys can mint them later if they want to, and then start participating in the play and earn. But yeah, I think it's really just important to build a core game first. And if you build a core game, like the kind of NFT buying will come as long as if there's a good game. And Club is literally one of the first games that will be coming out this year and targeting one of those mass audiences. So I don't really worry too much about getting that kind of hype buying or what your stats are on OpenSea or whatever. It's not really that sort of project. Like, we'll know Club's successful if people like the game. And if they like the game, the kind of crypto money will come in. But also, like, we've had a lot of people in that 1,000 who have bought this in the last week or two who are just literally buying crypto for the first time because they want to play the game. So we've been, teaching them everything from, what's Ethereum to how do you get a wallet. And so we think, a lot of people who we talk to in the crypto space they're excited about Club's ability to sort of bring in people who aren't the usual crowd who just buy every project and move on. Like, we generally are sort of converting people to using crypto who haven't done so before, which is pretty exciting.
Great. I just sort of looked to round things off. I guess from my angle, that's a really, really competent and great understanding of Club, what you guys are looking to achieve, how you got to where you are now, and I guess what to look forward to and to be excited for. We're definitely really excited for your Club Reveal party. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's 8 o'clock tomorrow evening?
That is correct. We're going to be doing a Twitter Spaces event with Fantasy Football Scout, and we're really encouraging people to get involved with that and show us what they've got, and just generally have a chat about how they feel about the reveal. It feels like we've been building up to this for a really long time, so I'm so excited about tomorrow. I really can't wait.
Yeah, we're so sad. We spent about 6 hours last night going through like 5,000 badges to filter out the best possible ones so that people are kind of happy with the badges that they've got and they can trade them. And then we're sort of excited to see there's 10 really special ones in there, like the animated ones. So excited to see who gets those. Yeah, they could be kind of pretty cool collector's items ahead if we do make Turn Club into a successful game, because it was literally the kind of first drop. So yeah, we're excited to see what people get, and we hope people are happy with what they get on Thursday.
Well, guys, best of luck. I'm sure you will turn Club into a very exciting game.
If you allow me a quick shill, we do still have some available. You've got the last chance tonight to pick some up. So if anyone does fancy to getting them, they are still there. But after tomorrow, we're going to close that, and we don't know when we'll open the next sale again. So I would probably get into trouble if I didn't at least mention that.
No problem at all. And I guess along with that, for those who entered our raffle giveaway, that will be announced soon. The winners of those two clubs will be announced soon, and you'll be able to get the reveal tomorrow. So all very exciting. But again, thank you, Mel. Thank you, Adam. Really, really interesting. I hope you guys found it interesting as well. Any final comments from yourself, Stefan?
No, that's it. Mel, Adam, thank you so much. Is there anything else that we need to know before we say goodbye?
No, I think I've covered it, and I've got my shill comment in. So I'll just thank you guys for having us on. Really, really fun to share this with you, and I really, really like what you guys are doing as well with kind of bringing kind of that real world experience to NFTs and giving that the sort of experiences money can't buy. I think those are really kind of fun things to be doing with NFTs. So I think Club will want to do stuff like that in future. So it's really good to know where you guys are when we want to do that.
Yeah, and I was just going to say again, thank you for having us on. It's been really good to talk to you guys and share a bit more about what we're doing. If people are on Discord, feel free to come and join us in ours. I'm also in yours, so I'm going to give a bit of a wave now. So if anybody wants to ask me any questions, I'm around too. So yeah, looking forward to seeing some more of you soon.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Jack. Everyone, it's been a pleasure having you all here. Go check out Club Game. And again, if you have any questions, you know where to find us. So everyone have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.